Okay, guys, so I did not feel like going live, but I did want to have a quick discussion. And this video is really in place of encouragement. I was watching this blogger, and he was rambling on and on and on about the Beyonce tour and if you use Klarna or whatever pay as you go methods that are out there. What is it? Affirm. I believe PayPal has one, and Afterpay. There we go. And I guess there's more out there. I have no idea. I'm gonna tell you something. I understand what people are saying about don't use Klarna and rack up debt. I totally agree. Um, if you really want to know my personal opinion, I would say, and I've got to turn to the candle, guys, because I'm laying down and I'm tired. So just enjoy the relaxation of my candle. But I would say if you can use pay as you go methods and use the interest free option where I think you're paying every so often without collecting interest on whatever the item or the service is, that's really the best route to go. But I don't see anything wrong with pay as you go methods if that's what you choose to do. We have to be realistic about things. First of all, here's a couple of realistic tips. Get out of other people's pockets. It's not your business how they go about paying for stuff and what methodology they use to pay for it. If they're doing it, they're doing it. Now, what is important to note is don't get caught up in what people do because you really don't know how they're going about doing things. And it may or may not be something that you're interested in. But I think I know people worry about the wrong thing. People worry about how folks are paying for stuff, where is it coming from, and all this stuff. If they're not stealing from you, and I find people not questioning some of our political administrations and how they go about doing things more than they're questioning the everyday man and woman out here, which is very crazy to me. Then why are you bothering the everyday man and woman in regards to escapism? So the first point I'm trying to make is use whatever you need to pay for whatever you can in the best way that you can. We have a very fluctuated economy going on right now, more so a recession. Things are going up and down. Some tariffs have been implemented, some tariffs have been taken back. It's like a freaking yo-yo roller coaster, and it's crazy. So I say if you desire to do certain things in a certain way and pay as you go methodologies are your best way in order to, I guess, make things more well rounded in your finances, do what you have to do. Because at the end of the day, if I pay for my Beyonce ticket outright, and I'm just making up something here, I'm not saying which way I did it either or, but if I paid for a Beyonce ticket outright and you paid for yours via Klarna, that seems to be the one that pops up for everybody talking about it. Who gives a shit, if I can be honest with you? Because you still got to go see the same freaking show that I saw. You still were there at the same time having your own personal experience, just like I was having my own personal experience. Who cares? It's not like there's a line for the people who did a pay as you go versus a line for the people who paid for things outright. Now, if we want to talk technical about what someone can afford, and technically somebody wants to analyze and say, well, people really can't afford X, Y, and Z if they have to make payments, fine. Even more so if they put the mess on credit cards and really, I mean, all those pay as you go methods, if you choose to make payments with interest, it's like a form of a credit card, right? So yeah, we can talk about being honest about your finances and being more responsible in this economy, of course, and being more mindful and going out. Hell, I don't even go out as much as I want to. You know what I'm saying? But then I also want to be mindful about my experiences now in general because I don't want to keep doing the same thing just to entertain people. I want to make sure it's one, something that I choose to do, and then two, encourage you to either experience that particular thing because it's been great or steer away from that because it was not. or just do things on your own and not wait for people because you're going to miss out on life. Regardless to how you feel about what's going on, time is of the essence and time waits for no man. That's the second point. So I would rather have experiences. Now, don't not breaking the bank. Excuse me, y'all. Like I'm like moving my phone around, but not breaking the bank, not using bill money to make payments on stuff. But I would rather look back and say, you know what, I made the most of my life, and I tried to find some sort of outlet in a positive manner than to be like, oh, I'm stuck in the house and I'm just going to say, forget it because blah, blah, blah. Now, again, this is not coming from being an irresponsible person, but I just personally feel like it's unrealistic to tell people to, for example, eat beans and rice this whole time. And you know that you need other methods of protein and nutrients and all this stuff in order for your body to function properly. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean go and eat out every time either. But I feel like today's people, third point, here we go, they don't know how to find a balance. And so they go from one extreme to the next and they worry about the wrong thing. Get out of people's pockets and worry about how you can make things better in the freaking circumstance that we're in. Because people who were worried about the wrong thing and worry about marginalizing people and trying to hold people down and put them in a box and all this stuff is why the country is in the shape it's in currently with the type of leadership that we have. So I encourage you to do the best you can with what you've got and go from there. And I feel like it was another point, guys, that I was going to make. But the whole point of this is if you run across these crazy vloggers who want to sit up here and have conversations about what other people are doing, take it with a grain of salt because sometimes it's them projecting and it's really, really freaking sad. It's sad to me that a person would rather go off on individuals than to focus on the fact that people need alleviation in whatever tax bracket they're in. People need to find some way to balance their life. Who gives a rat's behind whether it's with Klarna, whether it's with cash or whatever? But I do encourage you, if you are out here making decisions with pay as you go, with credit cards, please keep in mind that this is your personal choice. It is nobody's what am I trying to say? It's no one's responsibility to get you out of a mess that you have put yourself in. There have been, and don't get me wrong, God is awesome and he has blessed people to help other individuals. That's where these GoFundMe's come from, for example, when people don't have life insurance and all that stuff. But I do believe humanity does need a lesson in being responsible. I do think people use and abuse things like pay-as-you-goes and all this kind of stuff. But I also think it's unrealistic at this time for you to sit up here as a person who's judging folks for pay as you goes to not realize that people are kind of just using this to balance life, to maybe not feel like something is sucking up all their money. Or, hey, I need to jump on this deal real quick and something like a Klarna is available and it's better for me to take advantage now than later. So that way, the later portion doesn't end up costing me more in the long run or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just on here because I keep hearing the same goofy stuff. And I just say act with responsibility, but also know that it's okay if you need outlets. Now, I do want to get on the Beyonce thing real quick because I am posting Beyonce videos. I don't see anything wrong with those of us who went out to support Beyonce. Yes, there's a such thing as capitalism. And the fact that whoever it is, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Drake, what's his name? Kendrick Lamar, SZA, all them, whoever is on the goddamn tour that you like, Chris Brown, I feel like everybody and their mama is on tour because they're trying to get to the bag and they are also in a certain tax bracket. So it's actually more beneficial for them during this administration. probably to be on tour, and however that works out for them financially, depending on who they are and where they are up in the food chain and the monetary system. But I also feel like, too, that you just need to operate with wisdom. I always say take your brain with you. I always say, pray about certain things or whatever. But going back to Beyonce, I get that people are not happy with the country album representing the American flag, especially for people of color. I don't even want to say people of color, for Black folks, especially the way we have been viewed and are currently treated. We're not going to sit up here and act like this is not happening. But I also feel like, from a personal standpoint, I viewed it as her taking back what was rightfully ours, or that we started. And she is one of her tour was the number one country tour here recently. And I think that's amazing. You know what I mean? I love the fact that everybody came together and they supported something that was deemed not country. And I love the fact that she initially stated this is not country. Not to say, okay, this album is not country music, because she did have country music elements. I think her saying that was to be like, hey, I'm not abandoning my roots, guys. This is not country. It's a culmination of all my talents, of country, of all the things that I know. It's not some blanket genre. It's me taking back what's rightfully ours or hers, and turning it into something more developed, more, not as, you know what I'm saying, not the norm. And that's unique. You know what I mean? She's got a whole song about being unique. So, and that's on her first Renaissance album out of the three acts, right? So, I just personally feel like Beyonce taking the youth. I know people have beef with her about the American flag. Well, honey, whether people want to admit it or not, Black people are American. If you're over here, you are a part of the Americanization of this country. If you were born here, you're American. If you got citizenship here, you're American. Honestly, it should go beyond that. If you have contributed to the American society in any positive way, you're American. So I feel like, yes, I do agree that the American flag is not the greatest thing to be happy about right now, because of who's representing it and how piss poor it's coming off as a nation across the world, and all the ridiculousness that's happened under the leadership that we're in. But I also feel like that she, by her representing the American flag, and I don't know, people, I didn't wear American colors, but for people who wore the American flag colors in red, white, and blue, do not be ashamed of that, no matter who bashes you, because you are American. And I do think it's a way of taking it back, so to speak. It's just coming at a bad timing, because of the fact that representing it in a sense makes it seem like you're representing what America's standing for right now. But I doubt it. I think it's more to that. I think it's just like, don't forget who is actually American and who built this country and who contributed so much to this country. And that, my dear, is Black folks. So, and not to say any other race didn't, but definitely Black people have invented, created, been stolen from, continue to be stolen from, and not appreciated like we should be, and contribute to a lot of behind the scene things, myself included, in the nature of the work that I do, where we deserve more credit. So Beyonce's win, all that to say, I think for her doing so well on the tour and the representation of the American flag, I think a lot of Black people wanted to go support her, because that felt like a win for them. I'm trying not to get emotional about it, because it just makes me angry how my people have suffered for so long and continue to suffer. And people have the nerve to align themselves with craziness before they chose a woman who was about equality to represent this country and to move us forward versus going backward. But that's neither here nor there. That's something for a whole nother live. If you want me to get onto that and have a discussion, I might consider it. That's really not what my channel represents, though. So if and when this channel gets off, off the ground where I can get paid for it, then I might see maybe if it's worth having a Patreon or not. But in the meantime, in between time, there is no reason for you to be embarrassed about that. And I'm not going to lie, and sharing something personal, I had a couple of family members to wear the American flag during the 4th of July, but then they wore it because, my family member, he is a retired military. He is a veteran. Makes sense to me. You served the country, right? So I just, I know we're denouncing things and there's a lot going on and people are just saying F it and screw this and people are angry and people are tired of the BS that's happening. But I think really people, when they saw Beyonce represent the American flag and they went to support her, or so this is my interpretation and how I felt. It was like a win for her, made us feel like we were winning. She took back something, we were too. Even if it was in that 3 hour moment of letting go, that's how I feel. And whether people care to admit it or not, you need an outlet. It doesn't have to be a Beyonce concert. I don't give a shit if it's you buying your favorite food to be at ease, to if you are a drinker, you drinking, to Lord knows those of y'all who smoke that ganja, to whatever you're out here doing as an outlet from rubbing your goddamn pet, you need some kind of release, right? And sometimes certain releases cost money and sometimes it's free of charge. Watching your favorite TV show might feel free of charge, but if it's on a mother freaking app that you pay for monthly, it's not free. It might not be a Beyonce concert ticket, but it's not free. And hell, to be honest with you, if you hit the Beyonce concert sector at the right time, girl, you probably got a ticket cheaper for than when it first came out. So I just say, I wish people, especially in our culture, the Black culture, I'm just going to say it, would stop making each other feel bad about things and being so projecting and learn to find unification and understanding. And then maybe we can kind of move forward together. But until then, you're always going to find fault or see things wrong. And hell, some of y'all might even be jealous because you didn't get a chance to experience that type of release or outlet for yourselves. But anyway, hope you guys know what I'm trying to say. I'm pretty articulate. I just want to get all my thoughts out concerning this topic. If you have any questions that are actually legitimate and not crazy or not coming off as assholey, you're more than welcome to comment under this video and I will respond. If you want to go live about something, feel free to comment on that as well. And until next time, guys, peace.